Kate here with you again, and we're on the home stretch of Creativation now. I hope you've had a fantastic time looking at our new products plus all the other new product releases. I can't wait to see some of the things that all of our customers create with the new Lindy's Magical Shakers and embossing powders. So to give you a little kickstart, I'm just going to show you two really fast backgrounds. Now you can use these on art journal pages, your scrapbook pages, cards, tags, ATCs, anything that's porous. And for the first technique, I'm going to be using the Umpapa Pink, the Yodeling Yellow, Oktoberfest Orange, and of course the Cuckoo Clock Cardinal. Now this is probably the most simple background you can create with the new Lindy's Shakers, and it's really simple. All you need is water. So what I'm going to do is, just using the little salt and pepper shaker section, I'm going to tap the tiniest little bit of product onto my piece of card. Now sometimes what you find, depending on how far your shakers have travelled, and these ones came all the way to Australia, is sometimes the powder will settle in the bottom, so you just have to give it a little bit of a shake, just like the name, just to get that powder moving in the bottle. So I'm going to add a little of the Umpapa Pink, a little bit of Oktoberfest Orange, and to finish off, some of the Cuckoo Clock Cardinal. Now people are often surprised when you see how little product is used, and seriously, this is like grains of salt on a card here, and then the colour that is made afterwards. Now I have my camera sitting where I would usually spray from, so it's going to be a little bit closer. I might have a little bit of powder migrate, but let's see what happens. So I'm just going to spray this with water, and you can see as the water hits the product, hits the powder, it starts to activate. Now once I've got a little bit of water on the cardstock, I can go a little bit closer and spray a little bit more, because I know it's not going to be going everywhere. And this is where the fun happens. Now you can leave it spotty like this, and a lot of people love it that way, so that you can see all of the separate colours in the magicals. But for me, I'm a mixing girl. I love it when you get little pools of water and the colour starts to mix. Now if you don't want to add too much water, just take the tail, whoa, so much for that plan, off the brush or off the water bottle and flick it on. And you'll start to get all of these cool patterns as it mixes together. Now that yellow is insane bright. I love it. It is gorgeous. But if any colour is not coming through strongly enough, the wonderful thing is you can just go and add a little bit more. So for me, I'm going to add some more of that Umpapa Pink because I love it. And you just tap it right on top here. You can either add it in little areas where there isn't any colour, or right over the top of some of the other colours. Add a little bit more water to activate that dye in the powder. And I'm just adding the tiniest little bit there, just to add a bit more colour. Now the secret is to know when to stop, and I'm going to stop right here. Now I can dry it with a heat gun, or I can leave it to air dry, and you'll get two different sort of effects. With the air gun or embossing tool, embossing gun, it'll be, the colours intensify a little, but you'll also, as it dries, the air moves all these colours around a bit, so sometimes you lose a bit of the pattern. If you air dry, the colours become softer and they've got longer to blend into each other, so you'll end up with a smoother, more subtle background, but again, not as many of the wavy patterns. So it's kind of a catch-22. There is a middle ground. You can pat it dry with paper towel, and that will, because it's taking away some of the water, it sort of sets the patterns and the shapes that they've made, which I quite like, but you do lose a tiny bit of sparkle. So there's 3 different things you can do. All of them have positive and negatives. They all look gorgeous. So I think what I'm going to do is pat this dry with a paper towel, lose a little of my sparkle, but keep some of that beautiful patterning. Now, a lot of people like to keep their paper towels afterwards and use them in projects. For me, I would I would need a special drawer to do that because I would have so many, but it's up to you. Now, for me, that is just super, super gorgeous. So because I've patted it dry with the paper towel, all of these beautiful patterns are now set. Because the liquid is off the cardstock, this is exactly how it will look when it's dry. Now, with these particular magicals, and again, I'm calling them satins. They're not really called that, but I think they look like that. The shimmer is not quite as bold as our starbursts, but even now, can you see it here and here? You just sort of get these beautiful little peaks of shimmer across the card, and I probably just had my hand in front of that, but isn't that amazingly cool? So that is the first background, and again, that was the Yodeling Yellow, the Oktoberfest Orange, Papa Pink, and Cuckoo Clock Cardinal, and that is gorgeous. Now, another really quick one. And I'll just make sure this is all clean so I don't get any colour contamination. Because the magicals, some of them are quite pale, you don't really see that they're there until you accidentally wet the back of your craft mat, and then you'll find these beautiful pops of colour coming up all over the place, whether you wanted them to or not. So for this background, I'm going to be using Polka Purple, Bavarian Blue, Guten Tag Teal, and Lederhosen Laurel. Now this is really simple as well, and all you need to do is tap a little bit of colour onto a non-stick craft mat. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Now, depending on the size of the background you're creating, you can get a couple of prints out of this. So you don't have to just do one piece of cardstock and then wipe it off. You could do a whole background. Let's go crazy with that teal. You could do a couple of cards. You could do a whole series of ATCs or tags. Now I'm just going to add a tiny bit of the green just for a little bit of variation, but I don't want it to take over. And for this one, you need to add enough water to activate all of those dye inks. So again, I'm just going to spray from on high just to get some water down here. And even now, isn't that looking gorgeous? And then I'm going to move in closer so it creates some real puddles and activates those colours. Now, I might actually do 2 things here, I hate wasting anything. So I have my piece of cardstock, and all I'm going to do is lie this dry piece of cardstock face down into the inks. Press a little bit, but not too much, because you want a bit of patterning on there, and then carefully lift this off. Is that not crazy gorgeous? Super pretty. Now, you can pat this dry or just leave it to air dry. I'm going to leave mine to air dry just so I get a bit more shimmer. I'm just going to pop it off to the side. Now, as you can see, I've got heaps of colour left. So, sorry, Danielle. I can't help you there. And a tag, and you can just mop this up. Now, you can see I just added the tiniest little bit of powder here, and it's going such a long way. Now, if you like this kind of, thanks so much, Jane, if you like this kind of background, you can dry that with a heat gun and set that colour and pattern before dipping it back into the next batch of colour, and you get a more distinct pattern that way. But oh, yum. Now you can just keep dipping if you want to, move it around so you get different colours until the colour starts to blend together. Now you can see it's sort of becoming more blue here. It's taken over a bit. You can use that and paint a whole background. You can mop it up. I like putting it on my art journal pages. Or you can add a little bit more colour or some different colours and just keep making backgrounds until the ink runs out. Now I'm going to try and turn my camera off before I put my inky fingers everywhere. And I have one more thing to show you, and I'll be back probably in about half an hour and show you my final video for the Lindy's Stamp Gang Creativation 2017 sneak peek of our new products. Okay, thanks guys, bye.